and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody, remember to please sign on your cell phones.
Where do we begin? How about
At the beginning.
all right. Minutes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Off to a good start. Next up, authorizing payment of the bills.
I'll make a motion that we authorize the payment of the bills. I'll second. John.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Treasurer reports. So we didn't wind up having to turn off anyone's water.
No, but they're all paid as of today.
All right.
We played in detective to look for a phone number and got a family member who called the person.
Okay,
So
well, that's good.
that's one.
That's something we don't want to do, everybody.
Yeah.
The inventory is part of your.
Yeah, I've been managing an inventory project. So at the end of September, I was gonna give an update. This is gonna eventually be part of our emergency plan. The only thing on here that needs an update is I received the water and sewer pictures. They came in, I guess, while I was at my seminar and I found out today. So those I'll be printing to put in the book. We have listings that become typed. And the typed ones will be used every year so that they can just update amounts, add a few items. There's pictures, it's taking the DPW alone on one building is a full binder. That's how many pictures and how many pieces of inventory and tools we have. They're doing the second one is almost complete. But as you go down, you'll see we have in our software, the fixed assets, the markers, playground, street signs. Every street is inventoried every year, every sign, every fire hydrant, and then we added all the other departments so that if there is a fire, we have pictures, listings, and everything to claim on.
It's really smart to have your streets inventory, because if a fuel truck gets over and burned, who's gonna pay for all the melted tar and wiped out stuff? So having it for your insurance purposes is really smart.
So the streets are required actually every year. And
Yeah, but I don't ever remember having it done, so this is really good.
yeah, the streets we did a couple years ago and they got put into the software. And then what happens is each year it has to be done. It comes up when it's due and then they change
This is great.
the thing. So anything in Williamson has pictures and is in there. Anything else is in Excel or being put into Excel.
That's super.
I want to say
We have a
the,
motion now.
not yet, but I want to say the historical markers look good. Hopefully those will be good for quite a few years now.
People aren't running over
Well, they've
like
been,
they used to.
they've been painted, sandblasted and painted for a couple that needed it.
Very good.
I'll make a motion to accept your report as written.
I'll second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let's see here. Reports, cemetery.
The updates on this would be the cameras have arrived, they're installed and the pictures are done. They've shown the pictures.
Oh, for the, yeah, he has the cameras up.
Yep.
The trail cameras, yep. Yeah, I guess those are working good, so that's good.
I'll make a motion that we accept the cemetery report as written.
Just a couple things. Are we gonna get the card to Jim soon?
Yeah, we just have to find out where he wants, the employees all donated money. And it's going to a nonprofit, but the one that was listed was out of Cortland area, so we were giving them a couple days because they just buried her on Monday. And then asking where locally to send it.
Okay, so I've been.
And they'll get the card. We made sure everybody signed today.
Okay, perfect. I've been friends with Jim like for 40 years, so I did stop up to the cemetery. He wasn't there, but I spoke to Jim Junior just to see.
Right,
And let him know that if there's anything, you know, me personally or the board as a whole can do, just please let us know.
good, good. Is it too late to donate?
No, you can.
Okay, I'll give you money after the meeting.
Okay, so what?
We have-
You got a motion.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Code enforcement?
Busy as always.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. I don't know how I have a tenant that's starting to be an issue with his garbage. Do I go to phones to correct that, or is there something that
There, what are they doing?
they're just starting to have bags next to their?
Next to it? Yeah, well, that, or I guess we could. We could have
I want to
Mike
address it.
just go,
I want
tag
to
it right
address
away.
it before it becomes a bigger issue.
right,
If it's not out, then it has to be cut in.
Okay,
If-
it's not out.
Yeah, so, because Mike can only tag it if it's.
oh, I thought you meant alongside when they put out. their
Next to
garbage.
their.
Oh, next to their unit, oh, that is, Kevin, yeah,
All right, thank you.
I'll make the motion to accept the codes report as written.
I'll second it. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Report, a lot of activity this time.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we accept the dog report.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Streets and parks. The long one. They did a great job on all the concrete work they did.
Yep.
For the benches and the bus shelter.
And bus shelter looks great.
Just, I don't know the answer to it. The work they did on the sidewalks with the handicap. Where did that come from? and Who paid for it?
That's DOT. Is it? Yeah.
Just a scheduled thing from. the-
Yeah, we had to make them handicap accessible and then they have to have that metal plate.
Right.
But because it's a state road,
Sure.
they did it all. Well, they subbed it out to Suco, but they paid for it.
I'll make a motion to accept it as written.
How many trees did they cut down on the road?
I saw at least two.
And I know they have to take out, like, what, 5 or 6?
Yeah. We have to look at the tree budget to see what we have left, see what we can do, but there's more that have to go.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Fire department.
So Charlie put in here that a certain vehicle, the little rescue, needs to be replaced, and he wondered the board's a reaction before he went and costed it out. So if you would like him to, he's was wondering.
We
That's something
don't,
he anticipates doing before the budget season.
Well, we have reserves. I kind of asked him roughly, he thinks around 60,000, but he wondered if you guys would like quotes for that. Or do we want to wait? And so he was waiting to get direction before he did.
So there's no harm in getting quotes.
no, but we can get quotes, but
we do have a replacement schedule for all of their vehicles. And
Yeah, he thinks this one should be moved up. And be the next one. Instead of one of the others. I'm just telling you.
do you know roughly how much we have in the fire truck reserve?
270.
27, okay.
A lot of the vehicles that are coming up now for replacement are lower cost vehicles. Like the tankers and the scrub little engine.
You know, but we'll be not too far behind though.
I know. And
That's probably, well, that was over, I think it was over $1 million when they bought it
that was used.
way back then, so yeah, we're. Ooh. Yeah, he can get quotes. Yeah,
Do you know offhand when the vehicle falls on the schedule?
I just know it's not next.
Okay.
And there's only one more payment, principal payment on the bond. So we have 2 interest payments left. So one in November and then May it's done
for the ladder truck.
for the ladder
Yeah.
truck. And so at that point, they're thinking to go out because it's taking 2 to 3 years to build anything now. So everything that we're buying, so the big plow truck, for instance, is gonna take 2 years instead of 1. So that's why he's looking, because
Yeah,
everything's behind.
right, yep.
I'll make a motion that we accept the fire department's report.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? And, okay. Police department.
We have the fire inspector.
Oh, Ms. Fire Inspector.
It should look very similar to the codes because it's.
Same software.
Yep.
I'm good. All right. Seems to be on it now.
I'll make a motion that we accept the fire inspector's report.
I'll second it.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Our chief, is our village getting more out of control? 482 calls, sounds like that's. Last 3 months have been in that kind of range, didn't used to be that high, was it?
It's about that, it's about right, is it? Yeah, and it'll drop off during the winter months.
Right.
Anything?
All the officers getting along okay? Getting trained and fitting in and seeming to like it maybe, or faking it if they are.
Everything, yeah.
Is there anything you want to highlight, chief?
Nationally, out was,
Big success.
yep, and so was the Brockway.
Mhm.
Cities here gonna speak about that, but,
Yeah, I think they were both great. You know, we learned of some things we can do better on both of them and make some adjustments for next year, but it was for first tries for both of them. I think they went really well.
I make a motion to accept the report of written.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. The rec reports.
I like the concerts, 8 for 8. We didn't get rained out once with the concerts. And they were awesome.
Zach is still looking for some kids to work this football games. So we were originally planning on hiring 5 to 6, and we only have 2.
Okay.
And they would just call Zach,
What would they be doing?
running the chains.
Change?
So,
Okay,
they run chains, and the big one does the sport.
okay.
You have to be a certain age.
14. So adults can do it too.
And where would you go? Just here or?
Yeah, they can come here to grab an application, and we can give them Zach's the rec number to call.
Okay.
So there's, the football games last about 2 hours. And so you're just working the chains on whatever side has the ball.
I might know. some.
Yeah. And it only goes to October, I think, end of October or so.
But I did have one question as I've been signing vouchers and things. How are we doing as far as the rec budget goes? I've been signing some.
Everything's in budget. I can tell you that much. He goes through, so there was a lot, but we budget a lot for each of them. So we had a lot more uniforms purchased this year.
Yeah. It's just
So.
made me a little nervous when seeing some of them.
I would say that.
Hopefully we'll have a meeting in Portlandville at some point.
Well, if you'd like me to call, because they're doing their budget now. So.
Yeah,
Probably do that now before they set their budget.
yeah, if you would, because,
Yep.
Good idea.
And the rec committee is gonna be starting, so it's like a nice opening project.
We'll
It would
have our
be a
first
good
meeting next week.
okay, excellent.
Make a motion to accept the report.
I'll second it.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Water and sewer.
We have that, we have water and sewer coming up here
Mhm.
later, okay, so. All right. I won't jump in right now.
Anything you want us to highlight there, Buzz?
I don't know, it's what's up, I've done that, seems like it's quite a while ago since your road. We moved on since then, yeah. No, that's
Everything's all right?
everything's okay.
Good.
When you replace a fire hydrant, are they on a rotation schedule or just as needed most of the time? There's some out there that's pretty old.
Did, oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna tell you, they flush and actually test them all in the summer. One of our temporary persons came in and did them all. And painted.
Yeah, you pay them, you give
Yeah, the
them
thing that probably goes wrong is the rubber gasket down the bottom there, right?
the gasket, you know, mainly what goes wrong when they do. I mean, we have to lubricate them, you know, that's why we go and test them, because they do get set up and sometimes you hardly turn, take them apart, clean them up, lubricate them, put it back together.
Yeah, that's great, Stan.
What, did we do the lead testing on that one, homeowners?
We did, we haven't got nothing back yet.
Haven't gotten it back yet. Let me know if it's concern. I'm sure it's gonna be fine, but
Well, it should be unless, like I say, he's got something in there,
yeah. Yeah,
especially in that section there with Eagle, that's all new main.
it's all new, yeah, yeah, so it'd be one of those things that we, if it came back with lead, we would test what at the main, basically at the line in, right?
We had just the line coming in.
Yeah, yeah,
Eliminate the house.
yep, exactly, okay. You good?
How you doing on your parts, Buzz?
On the what?
You organized the parts room. Are you guys good? Are you gonna have to order significant parts?
No, we got a good shipment in there last time there. We kind of do it as we need it, because you never know when they change the standard. I know a lot of places when they went with the lead-free brass, they lost a lot of money because all that stuff they couldn't use. So,
Okay. I'll make a motion that we accept the water and sewer report.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Yeah, all right. Privilege of the floor.
I'm on, I'm on, if you can hear me.
We can, Fred.
All right. First of all, I'd like to thank Phil and Buzz for, I was showing them the lights outside yesterday and they said, well, we could wash those when we're going by with a wand. So when I came this morning, I could see that the spider webs were all off them and they were clean. And so I just wanted to thank them for that.
Excellent.
And Randy Crawford is working on a price for us to be voted on at the next board meeting on October 5th. Everything that he's done for us till now is volunteer. So I'm expecting to vote on his proposal in 2 weeks.
Excellent.
Other than that, there's no more report than that, other than what I gave 2 weeks ago, Hal.
Very good. Yeah, we've all got the plan concept here. I think it looks good.
Well, the chief and I went back and forth a lot on it, and I'm sure when we get into it, we may change things a little, but there has been a lot of thought gone into it.
Yeah. Very good.
Chief, which number is your office?
So,
E, F? Probably not G. It's only a 5x6.
let's figure out which one.
And we'll be looking at that in item G under new business.
Oh, okay.
I'm only kidding.
I jumped.
I'm only kidding, G.
I jumped the gun.
E.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, that's a nice one. Sure, okay. Not too big, but fine.
Anything else for us, Fred?
No, I don't have anything else. I thank you for the privilege.
Oh, thank you for coming. All right, next up, update on the dam project. I saw an email. I didn't get a chance to read.
Go ahead, Dan.
Had a call with the state this morning. Supposedly the muscle study is approved and should be occurring as we speak. Don't know if it is, but the joint application that they sent about a month or so back, or a few weeks back, that can be done concurrently with the study. It doesn't have to wait on the study. Little pushback thing that's, the studies will determine some of the final plans. That's true, but we could submit preliminary plans of how we're going to remove this dam and then what's going to occur afterwards.
Right,
So we'll impress upon everyone that we need to move forward. Study happen, do the joint application, and then we can all walk nicely into the sunset and get this dam moved.
well, at least it's moving forward.
It appears to be.
Oh,
Fits and starts.
yeah, got some of the log jam cleared out, no pun intended.
Yeah.
We'll see if water starts flowing.
The bus stop, I think we kind of,
Yeah, we got a reply back from them. Tanya submitted our requests and they submitted some things back. And so Phil's on at a conference, so Mike Gagliotti's got the ball and he's gonna take a look at it and see.
I wasn't, I mean, I understand, they said, move bracket here, this, that. We'll send an extension cord. I wasn't super thrilled about we gave you a little can of green paint.
Yeah, I thought that was a little underwhelming.
If you get something powder coated, you expect it to be a little more durable, so.
I talked with them this morning too, so it's just, with chipping, it's gonna chip. So plain and simple, that was his explanation, but yeah, with some of the other faded in the pictures, not quite, I haven't gone down and looked at it myself lately, so. If we want to do some more pushback on that, because of that, this little can of green paint is not enough. They will give us more, so we can paint the whole thing again, but
Yeah,
I don't know how strong we want to push it.
I think I'd like to wait until we hear back from Mike G and see what we can do. That way we can keep our issues bundled together and not piecemeal.
yeah. All right,
What's going on the things tripping?
Well, we had
Already.
during shipment, some things got chipped, and then one of the brackets that came for the solar panel. When they had the solar panel kit, they got a kit, and then when they opened it up, the one bracket was for a different, what we think is a different type of top. We've got the Victorian style top. So the bracket doesn't fit where they say it's supposed to go. Now they're coming back and saying, well, you just have to put it on the other side. We'll let Mike G work through that and then we will go back.
All right.
All right. And then update on the Little White Church. Dante, do you have anything on that and where that is?
I shared an email with Tanya, I think, what was that, last week or so. We have exchanged purchase agreements, red lines. I didn't make any major changes except for a contingency built into our side for approval by the state to give us, the ability to go through that process and get the okay. I haven't heard a response back from Fran, but that was middle or end of last week. But we do have a purchase agreement. It's pretty at the end stages, but I want to get that stuck in there for us to go through that review process.
Excellent.
So Dante, what's the next step? Are we waiting on the state OSC or do we have to do something else?
I always like to start, these transactions with the actual contract. So that is really step one. And then once we have that review process, then we can actually go through and work on getting approval by the state, or at least going through the review process for approval. They have a number of contingencies on their end as well to get their approval. They're a nonprofit, so they have to go through a regulatory approval process as well to purchase property. So those processes will occur simultaneously. I assume once we have a signed contract. So.
Okay. Thanks, Dante.
Very good. All right. New business, Brockway.
We have Cindy Stoker from
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know where Tom is, so I'm gonna speak on behalf of at least my side. I can probably answer some questions. First off, I just want to say a big thank you to all of you guys for all of the help. I mean, Bob with all the preliminaries and the day of the event and everything. For an event that size, to be the first time here with so few problems, it's all a testament to all of us working together. And not only Bob, but I need to thank Tanya because she helped with the permitting process and making certain that we had all our COIs in place, and she and I worked very well together, picking up the loose ends. And so thank you very much. The only things that we did have a Brockway meeting the other night, Bob was part of, and Pat also came. There were apologies issued for the smoke show at the end of the event, and that will not be an issue next year. Tanya helped set up the cornhole game at the end. And we actually, that was like throw together the night before.
Yeah.
Basically, because we had that extra end of the green available. And we did find it was amazing the number of people that did go down and take part with it. So thank you for that. Game plan next year, we do know that if it's at all possible, we'd like to see some additional porta potties. We've talked about that. Bob has mentioned maybe some picnic tables or something added to the green, so there's seating. But all in all, we had, I talked to somebody from the chamber that was up, and they're estimating that there was probably 1,500 to 2,000 people that traveled through. We also did find that the traffic to the museum was heavier because it was a straight shot from Main Street to the museum. I know I left the green at 10 minutes of 2 to go to the museum, and it was bumper to bumper traffic parked on both sides of Main Street all the way down to Copeland at 10 minutes of 2. So, and that stayed right full until I came back about 3 o'clock. So I'm certain that was full all day. And I have spoken with both Bob and Tanya to add a shuttle stop next year also at the intermediate school.
It's a good idea too.
Because we did find that people did walk down from there, but some of them, it was a hike for them. We know of one family in particular that pushed a wheelchair all the way down.
Oh my God.
So the shuttle, once Bob got the driver where it was supposed to go, it worked well in that continual loop.
Good.
Just, it added so much to it and. There were certain people that didn't feel, or a certain group of people that didn't feel the shuttles were necessary. They were necessary and they were utilized.
Fantastic. That's good to know. That's good to know.
Any questions or comments to me that I should take back to the organization?
Can we lock you in for 2023?
As far as I'm concerned, yes.
That's great.
As far as we know, Portland's gonna be tangled up, and the comment that we've had from everybody is, why haven't we gone there sooner? And some of the drivers actually said, if you move it back to Portland, we will not be back. I believe from what I have heard, and I don't know this 100%, but I believe that there were only 3 other shows that had more trucks than this one. So,
That's great.
you know, one of the things that we know we've got to try to figure out is, okay, those that are pulling trucks or pulling trailers. We've talked about maybe next year we tell them, hey, peel off onto James Street or peel off onto some of the other side streets. We need to try to get, and truck drivers are an odd group of people. And I have been trying since I've been there, and finally have figured out that you can't tell them where they need to go because they know better than anybody else. But Bob did mention it, that if they just keep following the leader, we can park even faster, but every truck was parked by 10 o'clock. So all things considering, I know when the first truck show that I was here for as the director, when they were in Cortland, that was in 19, and I think it was after 11 before the last truck was parked. So, I mean, and we had volunteers, we had some really street ride guys that were parking trucks. And they didn't understand that they couldn't just do this with the wheel and have them back in, that they needed more than a dime to turn.
Right.
So it was a learning curve for a lot of folks, but, and it was an exciting learning curve.
Now, the parade route was down 281 and then down Clinton and then
Yes.
in. I did get some comments from people that would said that they would love to have all the trucks go by almost in a parade. Is there any thought maybe if we did the route where we just came all the way down Main Street and then went Clinton and then back around and then back down Cayuga and then parked them so that, you know, like.
The reason why that we came the way we did is no matter how you do it, somebody's gonna find fault.
Right.
But the reason why we did it the way we did is so that they were angled back towards the museum when it came to the end of the day.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
We felt that that was the easiest way for the guys to get back to where they were going. And some of those guys actually peel off. And some of them actually turned right up Cayuga and headed there towards 81, or they went south and got right on 81. But we just thought that there was a longer place and more opportunity for people to park by coming by the high school and then coming down by the intermediate school. The reason why it couldn't be more of a parade route, and correct me if I'm wrong, is because part of it was coming out onto 281. They had to let traffic go by.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Traffic volume on 281 to hold
Gotcha.
everything up is too long.
So maybe we kind of tell people next year, because the intermediate school would probably be a good place for people to go if they wanted to see all the trucks go by,
There were a
right?
lot of people.
I know you said there were a lot that were,
The school and high school and the ice cream stores, there was a lot of people.
okay, yeah,
We figured there's 132 trucks. So you've got 132 trucks. And so if we had shut down traffic on 281 for 132 trucks, they would have been backed up for an hour. You would have had more complaints. than
yeah,
right
no,
now.
that's a good point, that's a good point. Yeah, we'll just, next year, we'll make sure we tell people, if you want to see all the trucks go by, this is where you should
Good locations. So
situate yourself.
I actually sent people to the cemetery. Because
That's
they
good.
could, because they could park in the cemetery, and many of them actually took their chairs and sat out
That's a great idea.
ahead of the fence.
Sure, that's a great idea too, yeah.
So, but I know that the people that lived on Clinton Street, I had a number of them comment about, particularly one woman, she says, you know, after an hour of trucks, there was a lot of trucks. So,
Yeah,
but it was, I can't say enough for all the help and the support that we had from all of you. So DPW, I mean, we asked Phil at the last minute to put out recycling cans for cans and bottles. I don't know what kind of.
We had garbage cans with them. I didn't know that, but when I called over and the guys that were working, one of them was Paul. He just went and pulled them out of the storage. Cause you had
Right,
mentioned.
but
one of
what I'm saying, I don't know what you guys ended up with returnables, but I would think that there were some. I know we don't end up with as many at the museum as what we would hope, because the folks from out of state don't understand that you can recycle
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
cans and bottles. But I'm certain there were some.
Yeah, I'm sure
But
there were.
a few things to iron out, but all in all, thank you very much. The show next year will be the second Saturday of August, which will be August the 12th.
Fantastic.
So as long as you're saying same time, same place,
Yes.
we would love to come. back.
No, we were thrilled that you came and we want to make it as enjoyable for all of the participants as possible. We don't ever want to let it go.
Well, if I have my say in it, it's here. I've been pushing since I got to the museum that it needed to come to home.
Oh, that's great.
So,
That's great.
anyway, thank you very much. If you have any other questions, please let me know or reach out to Tom.
Thanks, Cindy.
Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much.
I'm gonna-
Yeah.
Everybody-
Thank you.
If it's okay, I'd like to put item C next because we have Rich with us.
Sure.
Love to listen to all your other stuff, though. So it's a good way to get caught up. So, those who don't know me, I'm Rich Cunningham from Toma. Just a quick update on your DRI application. It is mostly drafted. We sent out to a few, mayor and a couple other people, the first, I don't know, 5 sections, well, not the first 5 sections. At this point, we're 95% drafted. We're really just finishing up the project section. So we'll have, I didn't send you stuff at the end of the day, but we'll have some more in the morning. So you can kind of take a look at that. And then really just getting everything to the graphic designer, getting it designed with a, going out on Friday. So we're in good shape with it. Really appreciate, there's been a lot of community support, input from, steering committee members, a lot of people showing up at that. Good attendance at the public meetings. We had, one virtual, one in person, over 100 responses to the survey. So that's all really helpful.
Yeah.
Rich, when do you think we'll see it on Friday before you submit?
As soon as the graphic designer gets it to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Electronically, it has to go in at 4. or
It's in
something?
at 4. Our biggest
Right
concern
earlier.
are 20 pages and 15 megabytes. So, we're counting up, I think right now we're 16 pages without photographs or graphics. So.
They actually limit you in size to 15
They
megabytes.
want to make sure it's an emailable document and not so big you have to do something else, so. So that's really the only concern now is making it all fit. And so, I'm forewarning everybody, we send you the drafts. I can't guarantee that there won't be a red pen taking out parts of things that we would like to have had in there, but there's just not space, so.
Yeah.
Photographs that take up the most space. Could you
Yeah, I mean, we still want a
reduce
good,
the bit quality.
yeah, I mean, we can make it fit in terms of the megabytes.
Okay.
But, the 20 pages is
Oh,
is a
okay.
little tricky. But we definitely want the photos and graphics in there because that helps so much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
Oh, I
can
agree.
sit there and talk about things till you're blue in the face, but one picture will say, oh, okay, that's exactly what they want to do.
Pictures were captions.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so that helps a lot, so. So I think we're pretty good. What we can do is, I'm assuming the graphic designer usually gets us parts as he does them. So we can certainly send you some of that stuff in advance before it's finalized, so you can kind of look at what the whole thing's gonna be looking like.
Should have hopefully a letter from Gillibrand's office. Schumer's office, they said they don't do them for state projects because they want everyone to win. And Lamonde's office said they wanted to see the application before they wrote it, so.
Okay,
That's the one I emailed
Okay,
you, so they just want some of the projects.
yeah, we can do that. Again, we should buy, mid-morning, we should have the project section and all the drafts done. It won't look pretty, it's got,
Well, he's not
nothing's
gonna see
formatted, it's
everything
a
else.
put picture here, so.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm calling you at 10 if I don't, that's what you said.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. So, there's any other questions about any of the stuff, we've got a really, I think, good collection of various potential incentives and investments. That, public projects, private projects, cultural projects, so I think, we've got a competitive application, I think.
Excellent. I saw the first draft of the video. I may or may not be showing that to you guys in executive session. So it came up.
And we will be getting the additional sections to the person in the video, so they kind of will know the projects, they'll know some of the stuff behind it, so then they can go in and edit that a little bit to talk about some of the bigger concepts that are being talked about. Make sure that it all kind of goes together. And they've also been given, I haven't seen it, but I know we provided in the same graphics that we had for sort of the cover of the document.
Yeah.
So that
Yep.
there should be a consistent look for everything throughout.
Yep.
Hopefully they got that.
It is in there. Yeah.
Historic, artistic, enterprising. So
Is
professional.
that an okay word?
That's all right. It's funny because the Jeremys sent a list. You see that list?
I picked that one out of the list.
Did you? Because I think that they put one in there just to see if we were reading it, because one of them was opportunistic. And I was like,
Well,
is that a positive?
I didn't think that was a positive. I saw that was like a throwaway, that's gonna go right out.
We were looking for a third word that met that whole, business friendly. piece
Right.
That ended with IC and we couldn't come up with it. Somebody tossed out bombastic and we didn't think.
Yeah, that's what opportunistic.
Yeah, opportunistic, yeah. No,
Wrong vibe.
no.
So that's gonna be, so hopefully that, and I think it gets the message across.
That's a, yeah, I think it's a
Yeah.
good,
May not be catchy.
yeah, I think it's good. Good. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it'll be a nice document at the end. Then it's up to the political side of things to weed through all the applications. So.
Yeah, the next, after you submit it, then it's, doing some kind of 20-minute presentation with our great leaders, right?
Yep, and I think that's what the mayor was talking about. The BDC is working on a video that's a big chunk of that. That really sort of sets the stage. And then I think it's largely question and answers. And we do have the graphic designer who's doing the graphic design for the document did a template PowerPoint. We got some changes that still need to be made to that based on our meeting, but there'll be a PowerPoint that then will guide whatever presentation happens after. So you're making sure you're hitting those spots. And it may be an opportunity to put in some things that don't fit in the application.
Well, we need the whole board to go to that review when they ask.
They typically limit you to 5 people. Well, I'm not sure.
That's not what happened the first year where I went,
Yeah, and Central New York may do it differently. A lot of regions limit to 5 people, so it's sort of a small group.
Okay.
So,
They've been adjusting because of the pandemic and everything.
Oh, yeah, because I remember when Fulton went up, they had their whole, everybody.
Yeah,
It
we're,
looked like they had to
And about
do
20
interview with everybody.
Yeah, that's a lot.
we're waiting to get more details as to, is it gonna be in person, is it gonna be streamed? And then we'll adjust from there.
Pandemic's over,
but there are things like, one of the things we probably aren't gonna have room for that we typically like to put in is a map that identifies the project so they can visually see how they all interrelate. But that's something that we could put together that would go in the presentation.
Sure.
So
That makes sense.
put that up there and say,
Could that be
here's
like
here's
an
how.
appendix to say, if you really want to see it, go online to XYZ,
No, I don't think
www.
they'll let us get away with that. We may attach a few things to letters of support. But that's pushing it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think the
It's
reason
like
they
an
said
idea
20
that you need a map, how do you get it?
Yeah, they really, I think, they don't want to be reading through these giant documents, so. They're really,
Right.
I think being pretty specific about it, so.
Yeah,
But we're gonna shoehorn in as much as we can get into that space.
excellent. Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks,
With
Rich.
that, I'm gonna go home and do some writing.
All right.
Thanks, Rich.
Have a good evening.
All right. Take care, thank you.
I'll send the email too about support letters by Thursday.
Great.
All right. Back to,
And you skipped to E because the beautification committee was coming and they thought around 7.
okay, yep, I thought that Terry said they were here, okay. Skipping to. What do I
B
go to
and D are
D?
done. Your B and D are beautification.
Oh, okay, All right,
See what
gotcha.
you them.
All right.
So the ceiling quotes we had to get, because Bill got here, I went through these with him and I got a couple with him. We have to do the community building because it was paved at the same time as the rest of the fire station. But someone inadvertently said it was oil and stone, so there was no quote gotten the first time. So we
Okay,
had to go backwards. We also have to do the basketball court with all the work that's on it.
oh, good.
So these are quotes for that. On top of that, we also asked for a quote for Buzz's parking lot. He's here. And the second one was inadvertently not told that. So there's two things they were looking for in this is to approve the community building and the basketball court. And then because we should get this done by the end of October, giving Hal the authority to choose the Newton Waterworks parking lot as the as the other bid comes in.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That way we can get them to. You will see the one is significantly lower. And talking to Phil, he said both did good work and he would go with either and would have suggested the lower bid.
Yeah, I think clearly, I think that's what we should go with.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's like half. Right?
Yeah, so we would need a motion to accept basketball court and community building, and then second one to authorize me to choose the lower bid once we get another bid for buses.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
It's like a good plan.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. All right. DPW debris removal.
This is a bridge that's behind the circus house that attaches it to a 98 property. There's a large amount of debris that was jammed up against the bridge. Bridge wasn't going anywhere. It's a pretty significant bridge, but it still was a ton of debris. IEA got out most of everything, but there's some stuff that needs fished out. It's down in the river itself. So the other day, Gary Begorder asked if we would assist, maybe.
Go down and take some of that stuff out.
So, but we need to get, rent that machine probably for the day.
Oh, I see.
It's a claw with a, like a better term, it's a claw with a thumb, so they can clamp it, pull it out. So,
$460.
yeah.
And then
something like
one
that.
day is enough.
Yeah, but that won't even take a day.
Yeah, I think.
So just it's a small price and it's just DPW time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll make that motion. To do that, rent the equipment for the day and pull out the logs and stuff like that.
I'll second.
Hopefully have Don take some photos to show what a great. Village,
Great idea.
Where's Don?
He's online.
Okay, have Don show up, you know, take some photos. I think that'd be nice for the paper. Maybe the radio station too, who knows? All right.
I'll second the motion.
any discussion? All in favor?
Yeah, it ties in with what we're trying to do with the river cleanup, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Rotary's doing it, they're pretty quick too.
24th.
now we are on to the town hall, police department move the layouts.
So I just want to say a few words before Chief comes in, is the town and Chief Pittman and Brett have really been doing a lot of work on this. And at the town meeting earlier this month, you know, it's now to the point where do we move forward or not? And I know I'm positive about this. Obviously, Chief is positive about this, but this is a board decision. And before the town commits any more money or resources, they need to know if we're on board.
Right,
So tonight, we need to.
I'm on board.
If there's any questions for Chief, I know I had a few from some of the councilmen. One of them, which was, they wanted to make sure that the layout is gonna be sufficient for the department for like the next 5-10 years.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay,
I was comparing, I measured some of the offices that we're currently at over there and. Layout's a lot better, records, I mean, it's essentially building a police department versus coming in and taking over an older building. So what we have planned should work. It will work, I know it will work. The only one that's losing anything would be the size of my office. But we're gaining more space too.
Will you need to utilize the upstairs for storage at all, or?
Unless we wanted to put the records up there. Right now, we have move records over to the cold storage,
Gotcha.
so.
I think this is fantastic. And I'm actually blown away that you guys were able to figure this out and keep space for the seniors. So I never thought it would be possible. So that's really great.
I had faith in you all.
I know you did, Kevin.
now, another question was brought up by a resident of why wouldn't the village purchase the train station for the police department? I know my personal
Why
feeling,
would we?
my personal feeling is I would rather have that train station become a business,
Exactly.
much like Old Homer House is in the depot.
Yeah.
I'd rather have another business
Back
there
on the tax rolls.
on the
Yeah,
tax rolls.
for sure.
The other thing too is this layout is specifically designed with the police department in mind. So it's designed for them as opposed to the train station, which they kind of
Exactly. Made work.
made work.
I like the idea that you can go into the courthouse, and if they have to, have some overflow, you guys got some offices, you could keep people in, because sometimes I guess they stack people up in the aisles or something before they go to court, if their traffic tickets taken care of. So I like that idea.
And the other thing that's nice is that you have the police here. If there's any problems, whatever in this building, they're here.
Hit the panic button downstairs. And
Right.
Yeah, it's great to consolidate the municipal services in one location, have the police here on Main Street, to have them so close to the courts.
Yeah.
And the seniors too.
Yeah.
They can get rowdy there, but.
Oh, like Mr.
That's a great use of
Now,
space.
This is an older building. Having somebody in here, all the time. In case the heat goes out, problems with the water, so I mean, we'd be able to detect it, so.
Yeah. No, I think this is great.
Do we need a motion?
Yeah.
I would like to make the motion that we move forward with the town of Homer on the police department design.
Second.
He got you. He got you.
Well, I know.
I was chomping.
He's been more involved. It's fine.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Great idea.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Well, the other thing too is this building is designed to be redeveloped as needed by the municipality. I mean, there's a movie house, it was other things, now we're. just
And the
developing.
town has just been really fantastic to work with on all of this. So,
Well, this is a win-win, it's talking about shared services.
yeah,
I mean, I think our taxpayers are getting,
big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back up to item B, beautification requests. All right, we've got the quotes here. Quite a big difference.
only two quotes.
Yes. We want to try to keep it local if we could.
Yeah.
Rather than go outside of the county to get,
Yep,
Think you'll get equal quality? I hope.
we're hoping better quality.
That's what I want to hear.
Yes.
I'm all for it.
yeah, I don't think we were all that thrilled with the quality this year.
Not this year.
So, yeah, I think it's a no-brainer on this one too. So we got two different things. Obviously, first is the flower quote. I would recommend obviously going with Little York.
I'll make a motion that we go with Little York.
I'll second.
Before you vote, I'm not telling you not to, could you add in this one, they need 50% down, I need to be able to do that as a prepay. So if we go with this, I need that part approved too.
Okay,
it's
You
not our
normally do that in
policy.
January, don't you? 'Cause
Well,
that's
we
what
have the
used to
money in
do.
our budget.
Yeah.
But we normally pay that when the flowers come in May. So if they need 50% down, it has to be in the motion because it's different than our normal policy.
No problem. I'll make that motion if we put 50% down.
I'll second.
And I just have one thing to add, and I forgot to even tell Mandy this, but I thought of it today, and I was looking up the street. We took boxes away from the new McNeil building because it was all under construction.
sure.
So we may want to add those in.
They're
Oh, they're in there? Okay, all right, we're good then.
Do we already have the boxes?
Yeah. we
Yes.
did the box.
Yeah, I think the flowers look great this year, especially in 281 and your flags. We're making some good headway.
I believe so.
We can get those big old agway buildings painted, that would be nice.
They're
You
working
know
on it.
what? Just because you mentioned that, and they were pressure washed, they were getting ready to primer it, but Bill had to call them off because.
Oh, well, I
of the
understand.
weather.
Yeah.
So,
And the paint is purchased.
Oh,
Yeah.
And they were gonna paint them Monday, but the board,
Oh, yeah.
so.
Alan. They're being, yes, match the environment, I believe it.
They're gonna be primered white, so don't, when you see them all white, don't worry, this is the primer.
Well, I was hoping that the ladies or something come up with some nice pastel colors and make them all a little different.
If they're olive, you can always paint flowers on them.
Yeah.
That's
Color.
true. Yeah.
Right.
Good.
There you go. As long as you don't use a ladder, you can probably paint them by.
Is the roof and
Stand
the
up.
sides maybe the same color?
As far as I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, 'cause those things have been ugly for forever.
so progress is being made.
I love it.
Mike
Yeah,
Carter is doing them, so if you ever want to talk to anyone out there, Bill's in charge and Mike's.
Never
actually-
give up.
Nice. It'll be-
Never give up. That's I can tell you nice.
All
Some sculpture over there too, that'd be nice too.
all in favor?
I
Aye, very good. Christmas decorations got ordered, okay? All right, good. That's gonna be exciting too. We're gonna have all new Christmas decorations this year.
Man, we probably needed it, was it 20 years old?
Yeah,
Oh, gosh, they are cool, very old.
yeah.
But you're welcome to use them, Kevin, they're the wreaths, if you guys want to use them on.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea to repurpose some of
We
that.
can,
Yeah,
or keep it available for the rest of the
But
community.
the only thing is, we don't have access to light.
No, and
That's
some
okay.
of the lighting is shot in those, but the wreaths would still look okay, I think.
yeah.
You might want to put red, but big red.
Hang them
bulbs
right
on
on the
it.
flagpole
Well,
holders.
no, I think we were discussing, there was an issue with.
We don't have the poll.
We don't know the poles, but also how to attach them. And I think somebody was already working on trying to figure out.
Mike
a work-
Galliardi.
Mike was working on a workaround, so Kevin, they're still thinking about it. They're still trying to make it work.
Yep, and then once Mike Galliardi figured that out, that was coming to you to send to National Grid or to get approval.
We're looking at doing clamps around the poles in order to hang it, so.
Yeah, same as the flagpole, imagine.
I thought about this the other day now, do they make solar powered Christmas lights? Is there-
They must, I
They're
tell you, they
solar-
do.
Yes, you can buy solar lights, I have them in my backyard. You need sun, of course, in the winter, and they have to be facing the sun, but they work pretty well.
Batteries, yeah.
And they're like 10, 12 bucks for a string of like 25 or 30 feet long.
Yeah, they're not bad, yeah.
They're not bad. You can come to my backyard and see mine.
I will.
They're mine are colored, but, I have them on like little chandeliers. And they're really kind of pretty.
We could, I mean, we could actually look into trying to do that. If Mike Gagliotti gets a good system for hanging wreaths, there's no reason why we couldn't put solar lights on.
And then just bring the light right around the wreath.
And then just face the thing towards the
Yeah,
sun.
that really-
It's a little.
Experiment to see how much battery life we get in the winter.
Yeah.
They probably won't go all night. And
No, they won't go all night.
there would probably be days when there's not a lot, because I've got a lot of solar things and yeah, sometimes it's hit and miss.
It is.
Sometimes it's
Can't
right.
really put that solar LED kind of thing across from my window and 10 years now. I've been wanting to shoot it out, but I haven't.
Well,
That's good news.
We'll louder at for the chief over there.
On the record now.
But it's still there, and I will not do that. Boy, I really want to, because it's just aggravating. So those LED lights and solar, I mean, they last forever, even in the winter.
The telephone pole.
So we
Uh,
got Bob Beard's quote, so this is
Oh,
for
yeah,
you
that
too.
was our question, yeah.
so it looks like it's gonna be $582 per pole. And we've got, how many we need to do?
But the thing is, this is what we paid for fixing them on the green too already. So there was one sitting there, and then he also told me, Bob Beard, that if they get into it and the pole isn't just not hooked up, because some of them may not be hooked up, he said he won't charge for hooking them up. So this is to fix any that are broken. And if there's any just not hooked up, he's just gonna hook them up. and not-
Okay,
So I had thought 9, so that's the 5238, so it'll be a little less. And like I said, that was what we paid for the green, so it was reasonable to Phil and I, and he actually could get it done before you need it.
okay.
That was another issue.
And you'll see, we didn't spend where we were gonna buy some items in parks, and we also have some left over in the flowers, so between the two of them.
We've got
it would
enough.
all be-
Fantastic.
I'll make a motion if we fix the lights.
I'll second.
Any other discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
That's that. Bing, bang, boom.
Wonderful.
Thank you guys for your
Yeah,
work
thank
on
you.
this.
And thank you for ordering, I was way too busy when that happened.
Not a problem.
Thank you. Yeah, you guys. You do a lot. You're unsung, you know? Beautification committee is an unsung committee.
Well, is it possible to get more people on beautification?
Absolutely.
Of course it is.
I mean, I think we need some people that can like Mandy and I have been doing a lot of things ourselves. We have a committee of 5, but we seem to be doing some of the, like. snipping the
10%
flowers
is
off.
90% of the work.
Yeah, and
That's
just
pretty
people
much.
that we can say, all right, so we could get down and maybe snip off those top things on the coleus and just things like that, that
We
we
need
don't.
some worker bees.
Yeah.
We will put the word out. We'll put the word out.
I
Yeah.
mean, we have Ashley, but she's busy with the store, so she's not always available to come and do things.
Yeah.
So that's-
Well, don't hesitate to
Can you add that into our next issue of
Okay,
when we do our next ad for the Homer News?
Yep.
please?
right there, and I have it on for Facebook to do an ad for it.
Perfect.
too.
We will advertise for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else we can do?
Oh, good. Do we wanna, if you guys wanna come up with a date for a meeting, I can even put it in and maybe somebody will just come. So, I mean, that, like, it would be like a month from now or a month or 2, but something like that, and then maybe we can put it.
You
in.
you don't have the answer now. You can
Go home.
email Tanya
Yeah.
with a date. and
Yeah.
we'll put it
We're
in.
meeting, Thursday, right? Next Thursday, next Tuesday or Thursday.
But
Order
Yeah,
the
we can
flowers.
Order the flowers. next
Yeah,
year.
and then come up with a date and I'll put it on. the committee.
All right, good.
Would you be able to, at some point, just notify either Tanya or maybe myself, how many wreaths we have available?
You have to count the polls. How many, we can count on here,
We have 22 pools.
but with the reason every poll down this far,
No.
so I would say at least.
We probably have to go over to the DPW and actually count them.
You might have to go every other poll or something.
You'd have to go.
I think,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, from 90 to 41 was right around 22,
22 polls.
I think.
Yeah.
I.
Maybe
Probably
a couple
isn't
more.
that many weeks.
No,
No.
because I don't think the reads came down to the town hall. They were on the village green and they were in the business district,
Right.
so.
It's either 22 or 28, because we can do every other.
Yeah,
Let's just figure out what they got. We'll figure it out.
yeah.
All right, we thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you guys.
thank you. Thanks. Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
That's what we do.
We want stuff.
All right. We did that. All right, update on water and sewer policies. All right, first we've got the deferred payment agreement.
The yellow are the changes, so
Okay.
there's virtually nothing in this, but we tell everybody they must pay at least monthly, and we never wrote it in.
All right, well, there you go, now it's there.
I'll make a motion that we accept the water and sewer department deferred payment agreement.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next,
So the penalties being based on postmark date, not when received, is actually in the policy that is going to be looked at in E, and this is how we send it out in the back of the water bills to everyone.
all right,
A lot of people have been saying they write their check on the due date or a couple days before, they mail it 2 weeks later and are frustrated, so we actually save envelopes to show them. They forget when they mail it, or they forget it's in their purse, but we have to have a legal date, the legal
Right.
date is the postmark date, or the date you pay at the bank, in person, or on.
right. Good.
So we don't need a motion on that, that's just a reminder for everybody.
I recommend just go through all of them,
Yeah.
and just do one motion for everything.
One motion for everything, okay, so there's that one,
The water connection form, and sewer connection form is so that people know what they're actually buying when they connect and build a new house. So when someone had the sewer put in, they didn't realize the meter had come. So, and also if we have, the fees are blank because they're different based on each house, it buzzes time, they have to measure, but if we fill all the fees in, then they have a bill and commit to it ahead rather than getting it later. And then it's like they're agreeing to pay this amount, we have something to be levy if they don't.
I like it.
very good.
And what do we got?
Customer
There's-
dispute form?
Yep, so when customers have a dispute, we do have an appeals policy to put it in writing. We also now have a form, which is what all the other communities around here have. Disputes and request for any sort of changes should be in writing, and that's actually comes back into the policy. Because if they're not in writing and they're just oral, there's no backup or
No,
anything,
Mark, yep,
so.
I like that.
We will tell them they can write their own letter or email or use the form in person. If they come in here, they would be best to use the form. So the yellow are the changes in the policy. The first page, this was, you'll see approved in 2020 and updated today. If you go to B billing disputes, this is where, again, we're asking them to do it in
Right.
person. Exceptions would be like, if you do a deferred payment plan, you don't need a billing dispute to pay later. That's all it's for. Exceptions to turn off notices though, and to do pay lower in the deferred payment plan would need a dispute or request because it needs board approval to do something beyond policy. So,
excellent,
and then there's a policy because technically we now meet live. So anything that is done in between board meetings should not be voted on by the whole board, such as other items. So the change of the policy is because of coming out of COVID. And where our emergency checks or in between that we need are done by the 2 audit claims personnel. They would be done by the 2 audit claims on the committee, which right now are Ed and Pat, and the alternates are you guys. So if either of them can't answer, and they can answer on the phone, and we attach it, if they can't, or they're unavailable, and we would have to document that and then email one of you two. So,
all right,
and then, that way it's allowed to be in. One of the items, the next one is just to highlight in New York State. It's inherent, you have a water bill.
right,
Whether you get a bill or not, you know when it's due, it's up on the website. If the post office doesn't send it, like deliver it to you, you still owe it. And so that's, a lot of people have had issues with the post office. We keep telling them to look online, fill in their number, or come down and see us, so we'll reprint it.
right,
But it is up on our website too. Payments are still due, you're still charged penalties and interest for any bit for that. If the office changed your address or something like that without telling you, that's different.
right,
But most people don't move the same owner. and anything like that, just because they're not delivering or whatever, you still owe it. So the next one actually explains the re-levy a little more because a lot of people were confused last year. So as of January 31st, all water and sewer payments are due. Because our tax bills come out March 1st, anything outstanding as of the month before, which is the 31st, becomes re-leviable. Villages are required by law to re-levy all water bills, even 1 cent. Sewer, the board in this policy also re-levies. So all payments have to be postmarked, paid by credit card or at the bank or in person by the 31st. As of the 1st, we can't take payments. We do allow payments to come in the mail because if they were postmarked, we have to wait for them to the 5th. We have to have it all processed by the 7th or 8th and sent to the county. So people get confused that, oh, well, you have to receive it by the 5th so I can pay by my credit card. No, you can't. You have to pay by the 31st. It's just for mailings to come in for us to process.
Right.
So that's what that details more, so they're less confused, because a lot of people emailed, called, I know you had some, so that's what that's for. And then there's the termination of services. The village in the code has at 60 days, anyone can be turned off if it's owed. They have to have been billed. So if they only owe the interest and penalties, say they paid late the 30 days, they're not turned off. As we subject to 60 days for any amount, whether it's rents, penalties, or fees, or like a replacement meter. That's when we do turn off notices. They'll get a knocker and then they have 3 days to pay or to sign an agreement. They can come in, they put 10% down, have to pay by the 31st of January to pay that off and remain current. Otherwise, they're subject to turn off. There's a fee that's charged for the turn off notice. It's in the org book. We approved $2 to hanging up the door knockers. So that will be on the bill notices and the inserts for any late ones. And then there's a $25 turn off fee if your service is turned off. $25 to turn on. Some people willingly turn it off. They go away for months on end. So that's why they also might be charged the $25 turn off and turn on fee. Vacant houses, repairs, a lot of times need turn offs. We cannot turn off multi-units because the village has voted to put all bills in the landowner's name. So as such, a tenant cannot be responsible, so we cannot turn off theirs ever, but all of it becomes re-leviable. And that was what the choice was. Final bills that are not 30 days, they're usually not, they have to pay in 30 days, they're not 60. So somebody sells the house, the lawyer calls for it, and then the final is paid at closing, we get that, and so those aren't subject to turn off. And there are approved government programs. We have the low income water program right now. Anybody who receives it for that time and for 6 months after cannot be turned off for any reason. And individuals for payment agreements. And then you'll see our adjustment form that we've been using beyond it. And so that is here. So it would be a whole policies. I talked to Buzz, there's some other items we're going to put in the water inserts, the water bill inserts. Such as the owner is responsible for the lines between the house and the curb, so that they know that. And then we're gonna be working on the water meter replacement, or water meter testing form. So if someone really believes our meter is not working, and we've gone out and tested it ourselves, they are allowed to have it tested, but they have to agree that if it comes back that it was correct, they have to pay the fee. And so each of the fees Buzz will be getting, and then the form will come up.
Gotcha. That makes
The other
sense.
one was the 30 days if we find a leak on your site.
Okay.
You got 30 days.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
And we have one right now, and they're subject to a $250 penalty per day. And then they're past the 30 days.
That'll add up.
Then any adjustments to that penalty have to come to the board, so that would be a bill dispute.
Incentivized to.
We're gonna have an interesting meeting next month, I bet.
I'll make a motion that we update the water and sewer policies as outlined in items A through E. Second.
Any other discussion? Great job on these. All in favor? Yes. All right, review taxpayer request for water and sewer credit.
This is a total of $25.99 credit. It's a written request. Each of these would come to the board unless we have to decide it in between from now on.
Homeowner was notified, they took immediate action.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the credit.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, very good. All right.
Well, we still have Buzz here, and I think Ed, you had wanted to talk something about water.
Yes.
Or do you want to talk about it when it's our trustee time? I just figured since Buzz is here right now, you might want.
It's just, one of the questions I had asked, on email earlier was, how are we doing? And I talked to Tanya, so she's got the answer. How much do we pump versus how much do we bill? You know, I understand we pump someplace between 400 to 600,000 gallons per day. And I was wondering, how much do we bill per day? And that kind of would give us an idea how many leaks we have.
Yeah.
But, and I'm guessing it's pretty close, right?
Well, it's never close because you can't get it exact from, the way it pumps. And the way this thing reads that we get.
Well, yeah, you may fill up the tank and the tank may be full, but people aren't using it, I
they're
understand.
using that.
But if you did a 5-day average, it should be the same, right? Or
Yeah, I
10
mean, you
days.
probably still lose 100,000.
So we have 100,000 gallons a week a day. Wow, all right, so that brings up my other comment that I sent to everybody about maybe we, before you retire, that we upgrade the maps and start doing a shovel-ready kind of plan to replace our pipes in some kind of order. If they're gonna repave Main Street, I'm sure that's gonna, we should dig it up before they repave. If we're gonna replace the pipes, I don't know how old they are, they're 60 years old, so. We ought to have a plan. If the government right now is talking infrastructure, we ought to be prepared. And so we either need to fund some consultants or add a helper to Buzz to come up with that. Because I think that we're missing a golden opportunity to get federal monies if we're not ready and have like a 10-year plan. It's $60 million maybe to do everything. So.
Well, I like the
10 a
article.
year.
I like the article you had in, but that's a much larger organization, so I don't know if 60 million is accurate for us. However,
It's the same size village. That's the only reason I use
yeah,
it.
the
It's one square mile.
but I think we do a great job of tracking down. The three things I took away from that article was tracking and taking care of leaks,
We do that.
which we do that, and I talked with Buzz, and we pretty much have all the equipment we need for that. Two is the mapping,
Which we have.
and again,
Okay.
Buzz has got that. But what I was thinking we could probably do with a consolidated audit of our 5, 10-year, 15 programming out instead of. Like we did the INI,
Right,
kind of took care of some of that. We take care of some of these other things, but we don't have a campaign for
yeah,
how to address the future. So
well, yeah, I think maybe just a priority list of, so if they say, oh, there's money available, we can do item 1, 2, 3 on our priority.
That's what I meant, having that plan,
Yeah,
not maybe to 100% detail, but at least we have a plan. And they call you up and say, oh yeah, we got a plan, look, and it's gonna cost around 10 million. I mean, you don't have, you have it and you can feel confident and not go humma. So that's what I'm thinking.
So I don't know what our next step would be.
What we used to do a couple of streets a year. That's when we started doing our replacements of some of these old lines. And that kind of dropped off because of the money situation, but that's something I think should be brought back, considered a couple of streets a year.
okay,
Well, that's the plan.
Is that for 30,000 that we budget and we never spend?
We never spent it yet.
Yeah, and then we've been putting it in reserve and that's why it's built.
Well, that was on over here in North Main, and then the COVID hit.
Yeah,
That's why we kind of didn't get that.
Well, that's a good idea, then, we should, yeah.
So you're talking $30,000 to do a street, and the street is what?
Well,
800
that was a
feet.
short street, that's probably, depends, you know, they gotta figure out the street where it's gonna go, if it's gonna go into the, you know, blacktop, you're gonna be replacing blacktop, or you're gonna be replacing. Soil,
We should be right ahead of our paving guys, right? Because they pave 3 streets a year. We ought to be doing it before they pave those 3
well, that's what
streets.
we did, like Pine Street. I mean, that Pine Street should be a street should be changed. Where you're gonna put it down that street, I don't know, there's more lines going down that street that you can shake a stick at right now. But before they paved it, we checked it out for leaks, we fixed three different leaks on that street before they paved it. So, you know, and we got one down on South Main, which is not really an old line, but we fixed the leak down there a couple months ago. And underneath the pipe is disintegrating.
Depends on the
That
acid
thing
in the
was gonna have
soil.
to be
Yeah.
dealt with soon, or we're gonna have problems.
Well, that's why I say the plan with the government, with the infrastructure, we can get extra money. You can even have contractors come in and do it. If we had to.
And
know,
you can
in the plan.
identify parts of the village where there is more of a problem and where our, you know, where the blend should start.
And hopefully, NICOM's gonna be pushing again to switch the way that we fund this stuff from competitive grants to, like CHIPS funding, both for water and sewer. So that they just, they just give you an X amount based on how, you know, many miles of line you have, and you just utilize it. Cause we have, I mean, when we repave a road, we can't go back and do it for 10 years, so.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a 10-year plan, obviously.
Yeah,
But, like I say, that village was 1.2 square miles, we're 1.4 or something. I mean, they have a lot more hookups, but the mains have to be the same. They go down the streets, I'm sure, and then they have, they had 17,000 people, but that's not the point. We're talking the mains, not the laterals or hookups or whatever you call them. But they said 60 million bucks, and of course, they haven't been doing squat for years. So, but I mean, if we get a 10-year plan, that's all I'm saying.
yeah.
So maybe we put in some money this year into our budget that to help maybe make that plan, so you'll have it in your back pocket or time or
Well-
something, right? Pull it off. and
Well,
say,
if we're gonna start go back to doing a couple streets a year, which I think is a good idea, then you just gotta get with Phil and figure out what his repaving plan
Okay.
priorities are, and then we just stay
Maybe we
ahead of
have
that.
it, maybe we have it, maybe that is the plan, or maybe I'm thinking this is bigger than.
Well, I mean, I think that's what we do until we get some sort of notice that they're gonna give a lot of money, and
Well,
New York State.
I don't want to give away, I don't want to not get money if they're going to give it away. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, but they don't make it easy.
Well, they got all that money. It's like the DRI, if we don't try.
Yeah, no, it's not a matter of not trying. It's a matter of, they don't give it out. There's, I don't know if you've read the thing, there's a whole, comptroller just did a thing, basically, it said New York just gets this money from the federal government and sits on it, it's not distributed.
But that's why we have legislators that go pry it out. So that's why we vote in November, and everybody should vote. Yeah, all right, moving on.
Okay,
Said myself.
very good. No, I think that's good. Budget adjustments.
so most of these are just in the same department, moving it to another line, advertising had to be increased a little, but we took it out of other ones within it. We actually had to zero out the soccer revenue because we ran it through Cortland, so they keep it. We also had to zero out the expenses, and they paid the expenses so that the expenses weren't spent, because there was a misunderstanding that it was thought that it could, so I'm like, nope, we gotta if you don't get no revenue, can't have the expense. So that's really all these are, just moving them within the category to another line.
Very good.
You need a motion? I'll make a motion to accept the budget general adjustment as written.
I'll second that.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let's see,
So the next, if you want me to go over it.
sure,
So this is, you'd asked me to look into New York class. There's a lot of funds we can't transfer because they're collateral for bonds or they came as advances. So we can't move them. We gave the government, this is our fund. So it goes into there and has to sit in there. We do have some funds, and this is the resolution to move it over. The town already uses New York class. I can get the money transferred back with like in minutes, once this is set up, so. We usually leave money in our tax savings, for instance, and we transfer it to the general fund as needed. So they would have it where they could transfer it back to the general fund, the same as what we do now.
right,
We earned $8 in August and we would have earned $7.96 using them. So that was, you asked me to look, and that's what this is for. I'm putting two of our, we're not using our ARPA funds until we actually use them. It could just sit there earning interest, which is a higher rate than First National Bank, but I don't want to pull everything because then
right,
we get a whole bunch of benefits from them. But that 200,000 is where it's not gonna be used, so we do the activities. Some of them are gonna be another year or two. So it could just sit there earning interest, and the tax savings helps pay our bills. And if we could earn more interest, we just should.
yeah,
The resolution, Dan would have to read.
Ready? Whereas New York General Municipal Law, Article 5-G, Section 119-0 empowers municipal corporations to enter into, amend, cancel, and terminate agreements for performance among themselves or one for the other of their respective functions, powers, and duties on a cooperative or contract basis. Whereas the Village of Homer wishes to invest portions of its available investment funds in cooperation with other corporations and or districts pursuant to the NY Class Municipal Corporation Agreement amended and restated as of March 28th, 2019. Whereas the Village of Homer wishes to satisfy the safety and liquidity needs of their funds, now therefore it is hereby resolved as follows. The Village of Homer is hereby authorized to participate in the New York Class Program under the terms of the New York Class Municipal Cooperation Agreement amended and restated as of March 28th, 2019.
I'll make a motion that we accept the resolution as read.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Very good, that's a good move,
So do we have to, so we just, does that approve the opening of the account as well?
That approves opening it, but not transferring the money in it, so that's the next one.
Okay. We're gonna do the 400,000 tax savings and the 200,000 ARPA.
Yep.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve opening accounts for the following initial deposit and transfer funds. Back to First National Bank as needed. $400,000 for the tax savings and the $200,000 for the ARPA.
I'll second it.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Very good,
At 3 months, I'll give you an update and I'll compare the interest, and then you can see if it actually worked or not.
Perfect.
thank you. All right, DPW updates,
So Phil isn't gonna be here, so this is what he wanted to mention and other things to go over. The leaves and
yes,
small
leave and
branches.
small branch pickup, October 3rd to October 31st, full month. Folks, full month. Get them out there after the 31st, you're gonna have to just look at them until move them back in your yard and look at them until the spring, so,
Pretty fall off by then.
yeah.
October 31st is when the compost bin closes, the compost site closes too.
We got the new leaf shredder mulcher that
Yeah.
should be a little bit quieter than the jet engine.
Yeah, and way more efficient.
Way more efficient, yeah.
More efficient, yeah, it's gonna change, it's gonna make their lives a lot easier, and it's gonna do a better job.
Yep.
All right, so we got the plow. Staffing schedule. 4 to 12, 7 to 3,
And then if a lot of snow like is on the sidewalks for a school, then they would bring the second sidewalk person in early,
okay,
which you'll see is Paul, and he would do it then so that it's clear for the kids.
good,
And Phil wanted me to make sure everyone knew the school is always the priority.
School is always priority. We have the list of streets in priority order, I believe is on our village website, so.
No, I have to get it back up.
Oh, let's go back up. It will be put back up on the village website. But you can look and see where your street falls, and if it's not one that's heavily traveled by kids going to school. Yeah, unfortunately, with some days we might not get to you. All right, I think this looks good. I don't think we need a motion for this. I think you just want us to know. Right.
Well, the schedule you do, because the subs actually have to get approval to come in, because some of them are temporary for civil service. And if they're not approved, they can't come in.
All right, so
Do you need approval for subs?
Approval of this staffing.
approve the schedule and sub list.
I'll make that motion that we approve the schedule and the sub list.
I'll second it.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes, all right, next up, Amnesty Day. Saturday, October 22nd, 8:30 to 3:30.
I'll be here.
Village residents only. The list is always the same of what you can bring and what you can't bring, and will be on the website, probably on the Facebook page. You can always come down to the village office and get it.
And the chief will be there to make sure that you are. from the
Will
village.
be carding, yes.
Get ready to get down.
Bring your ID.
Let's see, discussion on garbage. Oh, wait, memorial bench update.
So if you want to do the last one, mention something on the last bench we just did, and then,
Oh.
and to give you a heads up, Peter Contentos will be done around October 4th. It was purchased for him, and it's supposed to ship within a week or two of that, so it will be here by the end of October.
Is that
So,
going on the green? Is it the other one? on
Yep.
green? Okay, great.
I had support for that already.
I saw that, yeah.
We had the Oshels dedicated their bench. Kevin and I were there. It was a great time, perfect weather.
Yeah, the pictures look nice.
Yeah.
Look like the very happy folks.
Yeah, it's our,
It went really well.
it did.
Good.
the daughter left us thank you notes. They brought them today. I got one, you have one.
That's great.
So we received.
You guys have one?
That's great.
So, I mean, it's already, I think it's one of the more popular benches right now, because every time I drive by,
There's almost in there.
there's somebody sitting there.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. Good. Yeah, I think it was a good location.
Yeah, and it's also, I think it's important that Pat's out there, I'm out there, the village is more used.
Yeah.
Noticeable and engage in public events like that.
Yeah.
I know they appreciate it immensely.
That's great. That's tremendous. Thank you guys for going.
And the other thing too is the reason we have such a lovely village is the people that live in here and contribute back.
Yeah,
And that's a perfect
Exactly.
example of that bench right there.
exactly. All right. Now the discussion on garbage. What are we discussing? Anything specific, or is it just on here?
No, it's, a lot of people are really not understanding what the employees are checking for, looking at recycling and concerns that are going through their garbage.
Yeah, so we're not, the employees are not looking to snoop in your garbage. It's a matter of making sure that you're not putting non-recyclables in the recyclable can, and also if you're overflowing, if you've got trash or recyclables that are outside the can, that's not okay. If your can gets tagged and turned, you can't go just turn it around, and you can, they'll take it, but you're still gonna get a fine from us, so it does not eliminate that issue.
And the other one is if people think someone else is putting garbage in theirs after them, they need to call the police.
Yep, and we will be, when we do our fine letters, we're gonna take a picture of the can and the house number both, so that we can show that we're looking at the correct can and house number. We'll have all that documentation as we start to send out fines.
It costs us a lot of money when that,
It does.
when you can't turn in recyclables, it ends up being trash, and we have to. All the taxpayers pay for it.
Yeah, it's not
So,
fair.
Yeah, it's not fair to the people who are doing it right.
All about there.
Yeah, it's education to styrofoam, just because it has the chasing arrows on it, doesn't mean it's recyclable.
Only number one. And
You know, styrofoam is garbage.
Yeah.
Just put it in the garbage. So a lot of times, you know, it's pretty obvious when driving down, you see styrofoam sticking out of a green can. It's not right. So if there's questions, you look at, you know, you can go to the, you can come to the office. We have the flyers.
Yeah,
I think it's on
Cortland County's
Portland
website.
County's website too.
I'll accept glass. Cortland County will say it's recyclable. For the village, it isn't unless you bring it to the DPW or you bring it to Cortland County itself.
Right, so and for that, for the glass, we have our own pickup site with the community gardens.
So bring it there
So-
or throw it away.
Yeah, bring it there or throw it away. And about every 2 weeks, we've been taking that glass over, so.
Good. DOT
how's our
updates.
electric garbage truck coming? Just threw that in for
Uh,
fun. You don't have to.
We're not,
Oh,
we're, when we get our garbage truck, and we will, it will be an electric one.
I know.
I'm telling you.
Hope so.
And we're gonna get a big giant grant for it.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, I just did a presentation at NICOM.
Oh, how'd that go? Cause you were on the
Good.
thing for the climate smart.
So Climate Smart, yeah, I was on with the DEC and the mayor from Hastings on Hudson. They're silver. But she's an environmental consultant, so
Oh,
it's her passion. But I was telling the chief there that they're going all electric for their police. They're already all electric for their police vehicles.
we only have a mile, so it's probably. And he probably.
Look at this.
Oh, he doesn't like electric.
Oh, yeah, it's not that opposed to.
They're not ready yet for SUVs and stuff.
Well-
It's pretty expensive too.
No, actually, she told her chief of police. You can keep your gas cars as long as you want, but when you want a new vehicle, it will be electric. You can pick out whatever you want though. So the detectives have Teslas and the chief got the Ford Mustang Mach-E.
Oh, geez.
But with rebates, it was only $40,000. It was less than the Explorer.
Wow, no doubt.
Yeah. So,
Oh, well, all right.
anywho,
Electric's changing.
DOT project updates, I assume that's the paving, right? They're gonna be paving, well. Maybe,
Maybe.
we're at the bottom of the list from what we understand. So they may or may not get to us, which is really
So
irritating.
Is that Route 11?
It's, yeah, it's all Clinton and then Main Street all the way down to Living History.
Okay.
But the contractor overbooks themselves on purpose and then sometimes just doesn't get things. So we may get the shaft on that this year, which would be disappointing.
First thing next year, then maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
either way, I just hope we find out in enough time because it's gonna be a nuisance right in front of the elementary school and the
Yes, it
business
is.
owners and.
Yeah, elementary school, the intermediate school, I mean, it goes in front of both, two of the, or three of the four schools. All right, next up, we need a motion to appoint Ward Duclos to the Recreation Committee.
Lord Duclos is an active member of our senior center, so he's gonna add an important voice to the recreation committee. And he was on it back in the day prior to the pandemic, before it was dissolved, so we're so glad that he's willing to come again.
He's a good citizen.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Ward has been very proactive and I wholeheartedly support this. So I'd like to make the motion to appoint Ward Duclos to the Recreation Committee.
Very good.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Approve Lynn Renner as temporary recreation specialist.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's a him.
Oh, him. Oh, yeah, I guess what you mean. I don't know these things anymore. Sorry. I'll make
Is this
a
something
motion,
from-
He's the
Renner.
adult that would be assisting at the football games. And so when Zach isn't there, or if he has to jump onto like an ambulance if a kid was hurt. It's roughly, I think it's. I remember right, I think it's 75 a game. So it's not a high end. And it's temporary just through the football season.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, that's very good.
The next two are kids. They're the assistants that do the chains.
Yep,
And so they get paid minimum wage in their first year.
so approve a couple of Anthony's.
I'll make the motion that we approve the two Anthony's.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And looks like we got an old mortgage release.
I'm gonna tell you, I have 400, a listing of 400 more.
Whoa.
That may or may not all be mortgages, but they were never released, and that is my project for the fall. So I'll be coming in with a lot more. This person actually paid off their mortgage and was shocked to see it stolen.
I'm glad that we're cleaning up some of these old messes.
I talked to the county and they ran some, the county's clerk's office, and they sent me a special report they did for me, because it doesn't allow me to run all the dates. And so I have to click on each and see if it was released. They think most of them are still on, but not all, who knows?
Just imagine you trying to sell your house, all of a sudden you just find you still have a.
That would be irritating.
That's happened sometimes. So
Oh,
this one,
yeah.
like I said, she thought she paid it off and was shocked to see it still there.
Do a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve the mortgage release for Ms. Metcalf for the 2005 CDBG loan grant program.
I'll second it.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, okay. Dante. Any comments in general?
Not in general. The thing I emailed you before, I think can be pushed a little bit or talked about at our next meeting.
Yeah, combining the two boards.
I printed it to hand out to everybody tonight,
I read it.
just to
Okay.
have to go.
Makes sense to me.
But otherwise, nothing else unless you guys have anything you have questions about.
Nope, I don't. All right, let's run around the horn then, Edward.
I think the DRI is coming along. I was very happy to hear from Toma and and the electric garbage truck, and we got tax season coming up. I like the idea of the Reese, if we can get those for 281, I think that would be excellent,
For sure.
especially if we have the money to do the LED battery or the
would
lights. I
be-
think that would be
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah,
I think we're doing pretty well, and I guess I'm not looking forward to it, but I know every year, but it's budget season, so that will be coming up next, and that's gonna be tough with 8% inflation this year over last year. People are gonna, it's a tough thing, so the board is, we're doing the best we can, folks, so it's gonna be tough. Over.
sure.
Attended the town hall, the town meeting on September 7th. A couple items. One, it's hard to believe we've been here for 5 years now. And the lease is up for renewal.
Oh, right.
There's some things discussed, but they passed on that for right now because we do a lot of shared services.
Right.
We do a lot of in-kind, we do a lot of things to reduce the cost to the taxpayer. So before they made any decisions on whether to keep the rent static or increased, they wanted to do an analysis of what exactly are we doing with shared services. Because based off the value of the shared services, we may be saving both municipalities more money than any rent increase would make sense more.
We let them be on our internet, right?
Yeah. So that is something we'll need to look at staff wise to see where our shared services are saving money. And that's what they paused or they pushed until the next meeting.
Yeah.
Until we have that.
Good.
Linda Jones was there as the legislative representative, and she had some updates. September is Suicide Awareness Month. Cortland County has double the state average and the second highest in central New York.
Really?
Yep.
Bad.
The courthouse stairs they're saying might not be able to be replaced and might not, possibly can't be used. So they're working on that. The leachate pipeline, they have a target for 2024. They've applied for 4 different grants. And if completed, could save up to $500,000 a year because they won't be having a tractor trailer traveling back and forth with leachate.
They just have to go around McGraw because McGraw won't participate.
County Chamber renos, they're not done yet. They have a supply issue with getting the material. They voted to eliminate the smoke shack. Only 34 properties went to tax auction this year, so that's a positive. I guess that's down significantly. There's a new law that the jail must hire new healthcare workers at the jail, and it's gonna cost the county about $134,000 a year. So that's gonna go things up. There's still discussion on turning into a charter county. Currently 23 counties in the state of New York, and I was gonna do some research on that, and I just ran out of time.
Oh, on what, a charter
What
county?
exactly a charter county
It
is.
basically, it gives them a lot more flexibility in determining their destiny. Now, most charter counties then go to a county executive. They've been told, we're not big enough for a county executive, and it would be more of a county manager. I still think we should have a county executive personally, but.
So that was the highlights of that, and then, we've just been discussing the DRI, so
All right.
that's all I have.
Everything that I had, we seemed to touch on already. The only other thing was, I'd seen activity down at and around the circus house, but I would assume that that was due to the river or whatever. I mean, somebody, the front door was open, people were walking around it. I was just wondering if anybody heard of activity.
We are applying for Restore New York grant for the circus house. Yeah. There is some question there because she does want to put apartments in the top part. What needs to be done there, and I said that she just needs to come down and talk to Kevin about that in codes, but yeah, we're putting it for Restore New York grant to the circus house. Yes.
And the only other thing would be, I'd like to personally thank Terry Jennison, maybe Barry Bradley, how easy they are to work with.
They really are.
Like I said, 90%. 10%.
That's any organization.
They're those. And I think this year is going to be beautiful. From what I've read.
Can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah.
You should say, like, do a little ceremonies and then turn the lights on.
Oh,
There's a night.
They would love that, because they
Alright.
loved that at the bench when you guys talked and they
Yeah.
came for
Good idea.
it. I like parties.
it'll probably be like Christmas. It'll probably be like Christmas vacation, where I get through the plug and nothing happens. Then I go into the garage. Yeah.
I'm done.
All right.
I just want to thank Chief Pittman and his staff for the work that they did to support the Child Advocacy Center's 5K race this weekend. This is the second year in a row that the CAC of Portland County has had a 5K here in Homer, and it's followed by an event at Homer Hops. It was bigger this year, it raised more money, and the CAC really is a constant presence at all of our events, providing activities and education for kids and their families, and they're very active in the schools here. And so to have the support from the police department to make it a bigger, more successful event was just great. We really appreciate your work.
Very good.
Should I bring the cowbell next year?
And we mentioned next year National Night Out. Any proceeds going to the HLS.
Oh, that's a great idea.
You can look.
I did, so for me, I mentioned that I did do the presentation at NICOM on our climate smart communities. Went well. The NICOM staff said that it was fantastic, so that's good. It was kind of very different presentations. Me and the other mayor had different styles, so we worked well together. The redistricting commission that I'm on, they did come to the conclusion that the last meeting that 17 is an untenable number. So 17 will not be the number. So whether it's 15, 13, 11 to be determined, but we'll start drawing maps soon, I hope. Had a meeting last night with Center for the Arts and the American Legion about the parking there, Legion's parking lot, and sort of coming to some sort of an agreement because it gets used for the center, it gets used by people in the village when they go in and out for elections and other things. So part of the DRI is to repave that part that's not repaved and then line it out and block out some spots that are Legion only, and then open up the other spots to as municipal spots, basically, if the village was willing to plow it, which I didn't think would be a heavy lift. So working on that with them. And that's all I had.
require a certain number of spots just for the Legion only?
They just wanted the ones that were basically along the building. Along the front of the building. They did have a request, chief. When there are, well, it wouldn't even just be when there are events, but basically the 2 spots to the north and 2 spots to the south of those driveways to make it no parking, because they talk about how when you try to pull out, you can't see when the cars are parked right up to it. So we might need to look into doing that. You're okay with that? That's all I had. And now, our favorite part, the media, they left.
I haven't heard anything on Elric at all.
They're,
Not that.
Yeah.
I've been just commenting that I hadn't seen any emails. I know Coleman's working.
she did those 3 sessions, and then that's the last I heard, so. All right, so we need to go into executive session to discuss personnel matter.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session for New York State Public Officers Law, Article 7, Section 105 to discuss personnel matters.
Second.